we were just cruising into 2021, having a great time, but then DIBCAC called us and said, "Get in, loser, you're going for an assessment." And basically, they gave us 90 days in order to get ready and prepare for their arrival. And once they basically told us that, the first thing we did was actually another gap assessment in our environment, because we're human, we realized we may have made some mistakes, and we wanted to see what else that we may have missed. And we discovered that our technical controls needed some tweaks here and there, but nothing, we didn't have to really rebuild any of those from scratch. But our policy and procedures definitely needed a refresh, because at the time, we had all our stuff, documentation kind of based on the way we were doing things on-prem, and because of Office 365 and some of the other clouds we were getting into, we really needed to refresh our policies on that and to make sure that we had everything in line. Now, there was not a lot of coordination between DIBCAC and us before the assessment, but there was a few key items that they did send us that I wanted to take note of. First, we received something called Enclosure 1 right after they told us they were going to be coming, and that essentially is a document that tells you, hey, we're coming, this is how we're going to do our assessment, and these are the people we need to talk to at your organization, such as your head IT guy, your head of security, and like head of facilities, and a few other people. And 2 weeks prior to the assessment, they also sent us another document, which I consider one of the most important ones, which is the list of objective evidence that they wanted from your company. And this contained they will ask you about documentation, screenshot shares and screenshots, such as they want to make sure that they can see MFA working on your device, or an audit log of an account getting disabled or denied access. And the third one was the physical controls, such as how you're physically protecting CUI, whether it be your infrastructure, that you make sure your server room is secured with a badge reader and has very limited access, or just making sure you have all the CUI locked in drawers when you're not using it. But, I would say making sure that once you get that evidence list, to start looking through it and gather as much of it as possible before they get there. You may only have 2 weeks, but it is very worth doing that, because it made DIBCAC feel a lot more relaxed with us, because they felt that we were prepared, and it just started off the audit on the right foot. Oops, sorry, going the wrong way there. But out of this whole experience, I think we have a couple takeaways I'd like to share with you guys, which is the better you prepare, the smoother the process will go, because we were able to have all our documentation, in a sense, right on stack when they needed it, or the ability to show them how all our systems worked, and it just made the process go very smoothly. Secondly, take the necessary steps to identify your data flow and accurately scope in your environment, because most likely there's a lot more things in scope than you initially thought. I know that's how we felt, and we had a lot of work to do. So it's just better to kind of get a real idea of what your environment actually is. And implementing the controls is a lot more than just enabling or disabling a setting on a system, especially when you're dealing with something as sensitive as admin rights with developers. You really gotta play that game carefully and make sure they can do their job, so you can continue doing yours without them hovering over your head every 3 minutes for an elevation request. And also, know the ins and outs of your systems to defend your implementations, because you may be doing something that DIBCAC is either unfamiliar with on how you implemented your control, or you might be on a system that they're not familiar with, so you need to make them feel comfortable that you are doing the right thing in the right way, so that they don't mark it as a finding. And also, don't wait till the last minute to get started. It's a lot of work, and I guarantee there's going to be more work than you initially thought, so it's just better to get started early. And waiting till the last minute when everyone wants to get compliant it's going to be really hard to find someone to help you do that because everyone else is going to be booked up. So I recommend getting started early so you can trial and error without having much worry about time frame.